Okay, so as I was really missing this kind of video before I started my Pekoe Trail hike in November 24, now I'm here, I'm doing it. And I'm just quickly trying to go through some topics. So first, what is Pekoe Trail? 320 kilometers through Sri Lanka. And it starts from Kandy and it ends in Nuara Eliya. It ends very near to Nuara Eliya. You can take a local bus easily to town. And it has 21 stages, which can be done usually in 2 weeks if you hike it continuously. I did it in 15 days because I had to take a short break in between. I had to go and fix my phone and come back to the trail. So that's why I lost 1 day. But yeah, I would say 14 days is perfect time to do it. There are people who do it stage by stage, but some stages are really short. So sometimes you might just walk for 1.5 hours and then your stage is over. So I would say, yeah, 2 weeks. Why is it special? I mean, it's the first long distance trail in Sri Lanka. And it's really, I would say it's a really nice trail. It has different terrains, of course. Mostly it's going through the tea plantations. So you can really explore the tea plantations when you're on that trail. And after that, it will go also to the jungle. So nice way to explore some jungle and also through the villages. So these are like the main 3 places you're going to. And the best time to go, I wouldn't say there is really any best time. You can go throughout the year, but people say January, February is the best because it's the least rainy then. I went in November, which is definitely not the best time to go. It's rainy, it was rainy. Even before I started, I was like, what am I doing? Because it was raining so much in the city. But the good trick is that usually it starts raining around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, usually. So if you hike most of your mileage before that, you are fine. I remember out of 2 weeks, I really hiked in a bad rain, I think for 2 days. But it was raining almost every day in the afternoon. Yeah, so you can still hike in the morning pretty much at every time. But sometimes in Sri Lanka, there are those weeks that are super bad. But this is 1 or 2 weeks in 1 year. And I think every country can have them. So next question, which a lot of people ask in different groups is do you need a guide? Short answer, of course not. You do not need a guide on Pekoe Trail. There is absolutely no need for that. I have been hiking quite a lot before that, solo, not solo, long trails, short trails, and Pekoe Trail, it's not a difficult trail to hike on your own. I would say that the only real worry for me was leopard, because it just sounds scary, but I mean in every country there is some kind of threat when you're hiking. Just because I had never been hiking in a country where there is leopard, so I was a little bit scared. But there, the leopard areas are very specific, and they're there have been like almost no attacks in Sri Lanka, or there are some, but not on that trail. And it's like, yeah, anyway, you need to consider this, but I wouldn't say that it's like a really big threat. You just need to be prepared, as in every hike. Some people say that you need guide to communicate with locals, to get more information, so on. I don't know, maybe depends from the guide and how they do the hike, because I met 2 women who had a guide, and I asked them like, oh, what kind of information the guide gave you? Tell me. Like, I was just trying to get to know it. And they told me that, oh, the guide really didn't tell anything. And he was more like logistics, like doing all these accommodations and arrangements for them. And yeah, guiding like the way, but he didn't talk much. Of course, there might be guides who talk or so on. But you never know which kind of guide you get. I mean, it's not like sure that they are going to give you all the details. They might not. But I mean, when I compare Pekoe Trail with the hikes I have done in Estonia, the hikes I have done in Portugal, in Scotland, Norway, US, Sweden, maybe something else, like all these other countries, I wouldn't say it was more complicated. No. Yeah, so basically what I can say, if you have completed a solo hike, multi-day hike before that, you don't need a guide because you know your stuff. You just need short like preparation for these conditions, but you will be fine. If it's your first hike, yeah, maybe get a guide, but then I would do it in every country, I think. So for experienced hiker, there is no need for guide, but I think Sri Lanka, yeah, after I traveled many countries in Asia, Sri Lanka has this vibe that they're always trying to sell you guides and this and that. So I think that's why they are pushing it a lot, and a lot of people who are actually like somehow connected to this trail organization or these groups or so on, they are guides themselves. So that's why sometimes you can get this vibe from the group that don't go without guides. I would say if you have been hiking before, you know what you're doing, no need for guide. You will be fine. Budget. So on Pekoe Trail, there are very few campsites. So I wouldn't like, okay, of course, you can go and camp the whole way if you're creative, but it's not how most of the people do the trail. I don't know anybody who has done it by camping. So basically, mostly what you do is that you walk from accommodation to accommodation, a little bit like caminos. And on the way, every day, you also find food in downs. So it's a little bit like hiking a camino when it comes to the style. And as there are not like specific accommodations after every stage, but there are mostly. So that's why you need to do a little bit of research to understand where there is like no accommodation. But I mean, in the worst case, if you're stranded somewhere, you don't have accommodation, you cannot walk more, just talk to the people. They will help you. You either get accommodation somewhere, they call a taxi for you. Yeah, you will be sorted out. It's not like a wild trail. You will see a lot of people during most of the days, except stage 10 and 11, which are in the national park. But otherwise, and 12, of course, 12 is also special. But otherwise, most of the days there are villages, you see many people, you will be fine. Budget for the accommodation. I would say the budget accommodation is around 10 euros, maybe sometimes a little bit more, 10-15 euros you should be prepared to pay. If you are ready to pay much more, there are more options, of course, with pickup and so on. But 10 euros was my average for accommodation. I think the most I paid 28 euros, which was at stage 10 and 11. And yeah, but this was including the breakfast and dinner, and it was amazing. So, typical day of hiking. So you wake up in your accommodation, and yeah, first I recommend you download your maps, because you will need maps. The trail is not perfectly marked, and sometimes it's not marked at all, so you need a map. And you either can download All Trails map or the Pekoe Trail map. I would recommend to have both, because they are you can use them together. I found Pekoe Trail map a little bit more like specific. It was updated better, but the All Trails map will give you a notification when you're getting off trail. So I had All Trails map on, giving me notifications, so I don't need to walk like this. And at the same time, I was checking my route on the Pekoe Trail app, and I had no issues. It was easy. But yeah, download those maps. Make sure you will have them offline before you leave the town. Yeah, then have your map. And in the morning, usually the time I woke up, because it's hot in Sri Lanka, so I think my alarm was at 5 a.m. and then I started walking. And at this time, mostly there is no shop open, so I had my breakfast stuff ready from the day before, some snacks I was eating when I was walking. And when I got to the first town, I had my first meal, easy. And always I had my meal in the evening, like a nice meal at a cafe. And otherwise I just topped up my snacks. I always had a little bit too much of snacks to be ready if there is no town in some time. And of course, I never carried water filter. I always had my water from towns. And then you walk. And yeah, you go through those tea plantations, you go through the villages, you go through jungle. The jungle parts are not that long. Mostly are at the tea plantations, but there is some jungle, and if it has been raining, the jungle, has grown. So sometimes it takes some time to get through this route, but it's not like impossible. It's just annoying and tiring and so on. Yeah. I think for me the most difficult jungle section was in the end of section 4, I think, yeah. When it was uphill and the road was or trail was completely overgrown. And when I got up there, I was so done. I was so tired. Okay. And if you ask how difficult the trail is, then it's not super easy, because you are climbing every day up and down. That's how the day looks like. You start from a down, you climb up, and then you climb down. But I had not been doing any training or preparation or whatever for last month because I was traveling and I was just doing other things, focusing on other things. So I would say I went to do the trail with no specific preparation, only the fact that I had been hiking before, so I knew how to manage some things. And it was okay. I mean, you can always do shorter day if you feel tired. And if you feel strong, you can do a longer day. If I would have been in a good hiking shape going there, I think I would have done it in a very, very, like a quicker way, like in less days. But I mean, sometimes also, as hikers say, going slower is like a nice way to do it. So I went as slow as I wanted. Yeah, and your daily mileage depends on the accommodations, like on Camino, basically. And often it was a choice between like 18 kilometers and 35. So in the beginning I chose 18. I could have, pushed 35, but there was no reason for me to do it. Yeah, and then usually when you finish one stage and you do 2 stages in a day, you will get into bigger village or town. You get some food, so I had my lunch usually there, and then you go on, and when you finish another stage, again there is food. But you cannot assume that there is food in the end of every stage. So for that I always carried some snacks. But I think I got some food in the end of every day. Yeah. Because when there was accommodation, there was also some kind of food. But yeah, carry your snacks, not to starve. The risks. So honestly, although I have been hiking quite a lot before, I was pretty worried about the Pekoe Trail and afraid in the beginning, especially because there was not so much information about it. Not many people had been doing it. But the risks, I would say, first, dogs. I mean, dogs are there. And although they did not attack me physically, but they intimidated me, definitely. Sometimes there's 10 dogs barking at you, keeping few meters distance, and you need to go through it. Especially in the mornings. Somehow there are always more dogs. So dogs, I was very afraid of dogs. I'm always afraid of dogs. So I got myself pepper spray, which made me feel a little bit better. It's always good to carry pepper spray if you want to be able to protect yourself in any scenario. I also carry pepper spray in any other country, just to mention. In Estonia, I have used it the most, actually, for dogs. And then we have, I would list the number 2 risk is leopard, because it's just scary. It's there. But there is one section, which is 5 kilometers, where the leopard might actually be there. It's like the national park. And after that, there is a longer section with also leopard might be there. But it was more open field and less forest. So you feel a little bit more protected or, better because you can see further. But if you go to 5 kilometers, was you go through the dense forest or jungle, and you know that the leopard might be there. But again, nobody has had this issue on the trail with leopards. But just know that they're there. Then some people talk about wasps. I never saw them, luckily, but some people tell that they are there. And then we have, what else? Then we have leeches. It's not a threat, but it's not comfortable. So for leeches, I bought leech socks. You can buy them in Scan Alpine shop in Kandy and in Colombo. So they look like this. They're like long socks. So you just put them on, and the trick is that leeches get stuck here. So when you get in the end of the leech section, you take off your shoe and you kick off the leeches. Trust me, I did it several times. I was so worried about the leeches before the hike, but actually it was fine. I mean, I had no idea how they would be, but actually the leeches are just like, they're there. And for the leeches, again, I would highly recommend having long trousers, and you can pull socks on the trousers, and then you can have your closed hiking shoes. It will save you from so many leeches. I met some people hiking there for a day hike with shorts and sandals. And they came out of the jungle and they told me that it was crazy, leeches everywhere. And when I went with my gear, it was like no leeches. So yeah, it will help a lot if you have. And these trousers, actually, I want to advertise them. I also bought them from Scan Alpine shop, and they are super thin, but at the same time, they were like really good, like drying very fast and all this. So very thin, light, long trousers. I would recommend definitely to do these hikes. Then you feel comfortable all day. Yeah, I think that's it for the threads. Then next, let's talk about packing. What do you pack? So as you are staying in the guest houses inside, then you don't really need to pack much. I went with 22 liters backpack, small one, and it was more than enough. So what did I carry? Long trousers for hiking. Then I did it in normal running shoes because my decision to hike the trail was very spontaneous. I did it like a few days before I started, so I had to take what I had. So very normal running shoes, nothing special. No special trail runners or anything. Then I love these socks. Just to tell you, nothing ever is sponsored in my videos. I don't have any sponsors, but I love these socks. Turned up. These ones are mid-weight Micro Crew Cool Max. I have hiked the PCT with these socks. I have hiked the Pekoe Trail with these socks. I have hiked all the other trails with these socks. Although they are Cool Max, they are good also for not that hot climate. I would have loved to have this in Gingy toe socks, but same story as with Turndovs. This is the perfect combo, but unfortunately, I didn't have them with me and I didn't have time to order them, but that's the combo. Turndovs in Gingys. Then, then we have, I would love to have the long sleeved hood sun hoodie. I was missing it so much on the trail. You cannot even imagine. But again, I didn't find it in Sri Lanka, and I didn't have time to order it. So I went just with normal t-shirt. It worked, but I just needed a lot of sunscreen, and it was hot and sunny. And then I had a cap, but I didn't use it much. I don't use them often, but I think you would love it. Most of the people would love it. I also would recommend you to have what are these? Electrolytes. I don't remember if I could buy them. I think I could in Sri Lanka, but electrolytes, gold. You just put it in your drink, and it really helps you in the hot climate. Okay, so this is what I was wearing. And so every day I was wearing this set, plus rain jacket, plus I think I had like very light fleece, but I didn't need it that much, but I had it with me. And then I had for the evenings, I can tell you this, that in the evenings it's getting cold in the mountains, and in your accommodations it's getting cold. So it's good to have warm, long underwear, or how you call it, like thermals. I think in Estonia we call it like warm underwear. Yeah, thermals. Thermals, like long-sleeved, warm stuff. And yeah, it helped a lot because it was cold at nights. So yeah, and I think this was it, what I carried. Few pairs of socks extra, of course, underwear extra. Of course, I had some kind of medical pack. So what I can recommend is that I always have some alcohol swabs just to clean your wound. And then of course, some plasters, safety pin to burst the blister, and then this roll tape to cover everything. That's my blister set. Then for the possible wasp attack, I had loratadine, like this, from local pharmacy. And what else? Of course, always I carry painkiller, and I carry Imodium or loperamide, which is for diarrhea. Cold. I think that's it for my medical kit. I always carry small scissors as well. I have needed them almost every trip, so I have them with me. And yeah, phone. You need battery bank, of course, for your hike. It's good to have at least one battery bank. Or if you don't carry it, just be conscious about your phone, getting empty, the battery getting empty. But I would recommend 10,000 battery bank. It's a nice thing to have. And did I have anything else important? Trekking poles. I would really recommend to get some trekking poles. I also bought them from this Scan Alpine shop. They were really expensive, but I wanted them, and they were really, really useful. They are multi-purpose. You can scare the dogs. You can balance yourself everywhere. You can test, like, sorry, I forgot one more risk. There are like some snakes. I never had any encounter, but there are snakes in the jungle. So when you're walking through this jungle, you can use trekking poles just to scan, like, in front of you. And I mean, if you're like hitting the poles very strongly in front of you, most probably the snakes will feel it and they leave. So this is like safety tactics. Like whenever I couldn't see where I'm going because of the overgrown jungle, I just did my trekking pole tactics. Because I'm a little bit afraid of those snakes. There are also some spiders in Sri Lanka, but luckily I didn't see them on trail. But I mean, snakes, they are there. Yep, and water you get from downs, you carry it. Snacks, nothing complicated. Yeah. Okay, people and towns. So the towns that you're passing are very small. The only bigger like touristic town is Ella and Kandy when you start, and Nuora Elia where you finish. And everything else is small, very small. So, and it's good because it's chill there. That's why the Pekoe Trail is amazing, because you really get away of the touristic places and people treat you differently. Because in Sri Lanka, when you go to the touristic places, you're a tourist and you feel it. And at some point it's getting tiring to be this tourist that everybody's giving so much attention to. When you're walking through the village, people take you normally and they're very helpful. They always observed if I'm taking the right route. Most of them, they knew where the route is going. And if I was hesitating, they were showing me the way. They were walking with me to take me through some shortcuts or whatever, some questionable parts of the route. Only good encounters. Some people gave me food when I was having a break. They were so friendly. Yeah. Everybody was just 10 out of 10. Few people, few children, they will ask money from you. Be prepared. But most of the people were super nice. Okay. On the hike, during the hike, you need to pay 3 times something just to keep hiking. So first time is in the end of stage 2, when you pay 1,000, which is like 3-4 euros, just to leave the tea estate. There is a guy collecting money. It's not scam. He actually gives you a ticket. Then when you enter stage 10 and you finish stage 10, or before the end, there is like entry to the national park. There is a gate with box, but nobody was there to collect money from me. So I paid it in the National Park Center, and it is 22,000 local currency, which is like 40 plus euros. Just have this cash with you. Local money, I think. Yeah. And just be prepared. I mean, it didn't feel that fair to pay it just to walk through the park for like a few hours. But I mean, rules are rules. This is part of the trail. And then the third one is when you are getting when you are approaching Ella, there is this Ella Rock, super famous, and trail goes there basically. So to see the Ella Rock, you pay something like 900, which is again like 3 euros. But at that time it felt like, why are you asking me money? I'm just hiking. But yeah, that's it. So you pay about 50 euros for the whole way in some kind of fees. About the network. So there was maybe even too much of the network when I was walking, hiking. Mostly there was network. There were some times when it was not there or was working not well, but mostly there was network, even on trail, which is really nice because I have been on trails where there is no network for 2 weeks, but on that trail you can upload your YouTube videos, or maybe not YouTube videos, maybe Instagram photos every day. Yeah, in some towns it was not that good, but it was there. Okay, 1 second. So, where you can get some information about the trail. There are so many Pekoe Trail groups in Facebook. I mean, just go there. Do some digging. People have put up their itineraries, their recommendations. There is so much information. Or, yeah, I think there is information. I was just thinking that I'm contradicting to my claim before that there was not enough of information. I mean, there is information. Maybe just you need to dig for it. But it's getting more and more now. People are walking this trail more and more. So Facebook groups for sure. Just keep scrolling, keep looking for information. Then my good friend, Sri Lankan hiker, he has a web page called chasewonders.com. Believe me, you will find a lot of information for Pekoe Trail from there. Then I think the best YouTube channel for the information is Vipul De Silva, who is the local hiker who has done detailed videos about everything, every stage and so on. So you can just go there and see how it is. And of course, all these people who I just mentioned, Vipul and my friend Vinura, they're very, very, very helpful. So if you send them a message, or even, of course, you can write me with any question, we will help you. So feel free, ask if you have any question. One more thing what I wanted to tell is now, okay, you are listening this and you think okay, I would like to try to do the Pekoe Trail. How do you start? Yeah, usually, maybe get the maps, see them, get some basic information, make list of your gear, check the weather for the time you're going, just to be prepared. And if you have all this, I think the most important thing you can do is be prepared for your first 3-4 days. Know what you're doing then. Because after that it will anyway change. You cannot plan the whole hike, mostly. Some people can, but most people can't. So just get the information for the first few days. Feel confident about those days. That's always my approach, and it has worked out well. And then, if you know what you're doing on your first 3-4 days, trust me, you have the network, you have time in the evening to figure out if you have any more questions. So I can give you the recommendations. If you want to do it in one thru hike in 14 days, that's my game plan. So you start on day 1 and you cover, okay, first how you get to the start. The start is at this candy tea museum, I guess, Ceylon Museum. You will find it when you Google it. But it's out of town, out of Kandy, maybe 5 kilometers, but it's very remote. There are no buses going there, at least as I know. maybe there is something which I don't know. So I think the easiest is just take taxi, Uber, or no, Grab. In Sri Lanka, Grab. Yeah, take a taxi, go there. The taxi was not expensive, trust me, otherwise I would have not taken it. Take a taxi, go to this museum, and start your hike. So from there, the first stage is 12 kilometers. Easy hike. And after that, the usual recommendation is not to stay in this first town, but to keep walking the stage 2, another 6.5 kilometers until you get to the Del Tota town. And there are several places to stay there, but I stayed in Hotel Del Tota village. It was okay. Maybe not amazing, but it was okay. It was around 3,500, I guess, like 10 euros. Yeah. Then the second day is maybe pretty difficult because now you don't have accommodation before 26 kilometers. And it's a lot of ups and downs and jungle, but it's doable. So you walk to the next town, named Tavalantene. It's basically end of the stage 3. And you get to this town. It's quite big town. You walk right through it. And there are several accommodations and quite lively like cafe scene, but not like the cafe scene, like the local cafe scene. And after that, the next day 3, as I told you, for me stage 4 was the most difficult stage, maybe because I was also tired of the previous day. So I decided to do the stage 4, which is only 15 kilometers. But it was not easy 15 kilometers with this crazy climb in the jungle. And in the end of stage 4, I was tired and it started raining. So I just stayed there. In the end of stage 4, when you get to the end of the stage, there are few accommodations right on the trail. One is for 3,000 something. But you can see on the map, you can also take even a taxi, which I did. It was like 2 kilometers, I think. There is like a bigger town near. And you can definitely find like local taxis taking you there. It was cheap. To get there, I went there just to eat. And there is like a quite big town in the end of stage 4. But you don't walk through it, you go from here. So yeah, I went to this town. There was a lot of like stuff. It was a quite big town. So after the stage 4, I think stage 5 was pretty chill, pretty easy. Walking through different villages, very beautiful. And in the end of stage 5, there is this epic accommodation called Kittul cabins. You can actually book it from the booking. It's worth it. I think it's like 18 euros, but trust me, it's worth it. And also they can cook the dinner. So when you get to this town, end of stage 5, in the town you have shops, maybe some cafe, I didn't find, but I didn't look much. But you have shops. I got a lot of food. Then you walk a little bit off trail to Kittul cabin. They can cook you a really nice dinner. It was amazing. And then you walk out back to the trail in the morning. Yeah. Then I did stage 6 and 7 together, I think, next day. And I got to Norwood. Okay. The down in the end of stage 6 was also really nice. Big town, you can find accommodation. But stage 7, yeah, Norwood. Let me think about this. Yeah. In the end of Norwood, in town of Norwood, it's little struggle with the accommodation. I mean, with the budget accommodation. In the end, I stayed in an expensive place because I just called them and they offered me a good deal. Still expensive for me, but it was more expensive when I called them. But you will find accommodation. But I just tell this Norwood town was not so easy. There is to find budget accommodation, and then you go. Okay, stage 7. End of stage 8, there is this amazing place like Harita Ganda something. It was great. I really loved it. And there is a pretty okay big town also. Nice one. So now, end of stage 9, guys. Whoa. Stage 9. I just need to tell, stage 8 was really beautiful. Really, really nice. But end of stage 9, that's wild a little bit. Because the plan is now you need to do together the stages 10 and 11 because there is no accommodation in the end of stage 10. Because you're in middle of the national park, so you need to kind of have accommodation in the end of stage 9. Some people have found accommodation there when they ask around because it's like a town. It's pretty crazy town because it's very remote. It's, I think, end of stage 9 towns are the most remote towns you're going to, and I really loved, and especially when you have walked there. It was nice. But from the end of stage 9, you can take a bus, just ask locals, and you can go to a town. Yeah, you can. One second. Okay, sorry. The accommodation you're looking for is Rohita Guest. ROHITHA Guest. Just look it from the Google Maps, it's there. It's amazing. To the Rohita Quest, you get by bus from this town in the end of stage 9. You take a bus, you go there. I loved the accommodation. Somehow it was so nice. They upgraded my room. They gave me like the apartment instead of nice. Okay, yeah, it was a really nice evening. And there are a few good places to eat and good shops, and it's proper place. Just ask recommendations from the accommodation owner. And now from there, the best way to get out of this town back to the trail in the morning is that ask the accommodation owner to book taxi for you in the morning. I think I paid like 1,000 only, which is €3 to get 6 a.m. back to the trail, like quite a long trip. And you can start next day. And now you need to do stage 10 and 11 together because there is no accommodation in the end of stage 10. And stage 10 is 10 kilometers, but it's dirt uphill. And then you get, in the end of it, you get to the national park, and there is a shop for food. You can top it up. And then there is stage 11, which is at some point downhill. And then in the end, I think I stayed in Acacia Inn. Really nice. And you can look on the map. There you have the accommodations. Some people somehow get off trail, go down, but Acacia Inn was the most expensive one for me. I don't know. It was nice to stay there. You are in middle of the national park. And then stage 11. There is no network in that place, but usually accommodations have Wi-Fi. Next day, you walk the stage 12. Also known as the best stage of the trail. It's so remote. It's so nice. In the middle of it, you get to the town of Italcasina, where there is a train station. In case you're in crisis, like I was, my phone was broken. You can take train from there somewhere where you need to go. Yeah, but like there you have, before the train station, you have few places to buy food. And then the second part of stage 12 is just amazing. You're going up to the hills, the views, it's so remote. Yep. And in the end, you get to the town of, one second, Hapotala. I don't have it here, but I'm trying to remember. Yeah, Hapotala. Hapotala is proper town. Big. There are even few tourists there. Okay, Hapotala. I'm trying to do it more quickly. Let's get going. Hapotala, good town. Stay there, have a rest, proper selection of everything. Train station as well. Now, the next day, I would recommend, and this is what a lot of people do, by that time you're in good hiking shape, so no issues. Do the stage 12, 13 and 14 all together. It's 32 kilometers, but they're not so good, or if at all, accommodations in middle of this distance. And then in the end of this day, wait, sorry, you do stages 13, 14 and 15, not what I said before. So yeah, so now you are in the end of stage 12 and you do stages 13, 14 and 15 together. It's about 30 kilometers and you get to Ella. Ella, proper tourist town. You have everything there. So many accommodation options, so many food options. I think even a care shop. It's a perfect place to just rest, but not very silent. And then after Ella, you can do together stages 16 and 17. And then I think I did 18 and 19. I don't know. I don't remember anymore. But I remember, yeah. I think the last day I did 21 and 22, yeah. I think like that. I mean, you're already in the end. You know what you're doing. But this is kind of the logic. That's how to plan it, stage by stage. And yeah, I just want to tell you that it was the best 2 weeks in Sri Lanka out of my 3 months. Don't overthink, just do it. And there there are so many options to kind of bail out. Few times a day you are passing a town or village, bigger village, where if you need you can quit. So you're not like putting yourself into a very wild, crazy situation. So it's like low-key commitment. Just start and see how it's going. And yeah, I would really recommend Pekoe Trail. I'm really happy I did it. And I mean, if you have any more questions, just comment and I can make a new video with your questions or just answer them in the comments. Let's get hiking, guys, and let's enjoy the nature.